Yes, we're very excited about having these two new mobile products. Jim did a great job of describing them, and they are available on iPhone and Android. And a couple pictures are there, and if you're a user of our system, you've seen it on the website, and so they're now available in the stores for downloading. Namely, the first one, ERMobile on site. The ERLead one will be available very, very soon, probably within the next 7 days. The two products really represent two different types of people. ERMobile on-site, which is the first thing I'll show you, it's based for the planners and the staff, and that it's a tool on-site to help them do their job better. ERLead, their target audience is exhibitors. And we focus on these two products first because we had developed a badging technology based on QR codes called ERConnect. And initially we were using it for attendees, but we found that quickly people actually wanted to use it for session tracking and lead retrieval. And given the fact that there wasn't a lot out there with these particular tools, we felt that this was a real good direction to go and have some nice, easy-to-use apps that people can just start deploying right away for their advantage. And what you can see on this badge, there's a QR code on the left. We're very proficient at producing these QR codes, and you will see in our examples that they scan very, very quickly. They don't take a while and are problematic like the 2D barcodes. In fact, I found personally that when used properly, these things just scan immediately all the time. So I feel very good about how we're using this QR code technology. So the first thing we're going to show is the ERMobile on site. And like I said, it's for the planning side of things. And while there's some tools for viewing the attendee information and getting your current head counts and everything like that, the main use is for session tracking and conference check-in. There are two types of users. The first user we're going to show you is the planner. And the planner has a lot more capabilities than the other person. Namely, they can see attendee information and get detailed information like on the transaction history that you're familiar with. The other thing, administrative thing they can do is assign volunteers to session tracking, and we'll show you that right now. This is a slightly different webinar from our other webinars because we've actually mixed in videos along with the normal presentation. So I'm going to go to video number 1. Hopefully I got the right one here. Yes, I do. And this is a ERMobile on site. Now, the login is as a planner, and this is using an Event Rebel login. So when you log into our website with your email address and password, that's what you would use for this. Your meetings that you've been set up with our tool would show up on the first page, and then you click on it, and we'll get on with the video here. And then what you would see immediately is the number of registrations and the number of check-ins. So this is like our regometer at the top that you see on our back end, but this one's the real-time count of the number of check-ins. Continue. So the first thing that we'll click on is the attendees. And we list everything by name order, just by letter. We're assuming you have a lot of attendees. You would click on the letter, see someone's last name, click on that, and then you would have a read-only view of their detailed record and their transaction history. And you'll get a little bit of an idea of what that looks like when we show the ERLead product. We'll continue, hit that home button, go back to the home page, and now what I'm going to do is do a conference check-in by scanning one of our badges. So there's a tracking loop. So all of a sudden the scanner begins, you hit it, and you can see that it came up immediately. I didn't edit this, it just came up right away. Now, for this and for the volunteers, everything's meant to be in a loop because we're assuming people are going through the door. So if you hit continue scanning, it would go back to the scanner. You would scan the QR code, and you get this pop-up again. You could also see that it confirmed the name of the person that came in. In this case, we're going to go ahead and finish scanning and go back to our home screen. So the last part we're going to do is the workshop check-in. Now, the administrator is not going to be checking workshops. They're going to be managing who's at which workshop. And you can see a list of all the different workshops and who's currently been assigned to it. We'll click on one of the names. And then on this screen, we can add volunteers or delete volunteers and see what they've been assigned to. So that's basically what the planner sees. Go ahead and shut this screen down. And then we'll go back to our PowerPoint. Oh, sorry. Hang on. There. So our second user is the volunteer. Now the volunteer is not an ERMobile's login, because we're assuming that these volunteers are not regular users of the system. So what they do is they're going to log in with the same thing people do with their self-service, namely their email and the registrant ID. And then so you would put in all the volunteers on the back end of our system as registrants. Then they would show up on those screens so you can assign them. You also can assign them using the back end of our system prior to the show, not using the mobile app. So now I'm going to show the movie for the volunteer. They come in, they log in, they get their demo of their meeting. So click on the meeting. And they have a lot fewer things to do. Really, all they do is scan. They click on conference check-in. They'll just be scanning the people coming in for the general conference. Anytime anybody scans, they're automatically checked in for the conference. But we're assuming that you may be in a situation where you want to check people as they come in. So we're going to go to the workshop check-in. And here's all their assignments. In this case, it's just one assignment. You can see I have the date and the time. So we'll go there. And they start tracking, just like with the conference one. Same thing, we'll go to the badge. You see that it comes up right away. Now, what's particularly interesting about this particular scan is you can see that the system already knows that they've checked in. So we're asking whether we want to record this person as leaving the room or not. Now, obviously, the volunteer will know by the direction the person's going whether or not they're coming in or not. You can also turn this mode off and not care about whether or not people are leaving the room. But we know especially for continuing education credits, that people often want to track people leaving the room early because we want to see if they honestly attended the event. So we're going to say, record that person's leaving the room. You can see that we noted it, so we always get some kind of verbal cue. There's also a beep when the scan happens, so there's also an audio cue. So we give all the cues, but we try to allow people to continue in the loop, because you can see as soon as they did it, they can just hit continue scanning and keep on going. So this is meant to just really track people going into the room real fast. And that's basically what the volunteer does. So the other thing that I didn't show on this, because it's a little bit more involved, but we actually have an offline mode. Sometimes the sessions are not in a good Wi-Fi area. So in offline mode, you can actually not be connected to the internet in any way, and it will queue up all the work you've done. And then when you're back in where you have a connection, wireless or the phone, you can post everything back to our server. So there is an offline mode for those situations where you don't have a good connection. Our reporting, just like what you're used to, is very extensive. We have spreadsheet reports. The two main reports is we track our workshop, so you can see all the activity for a certain workshop. And then there's a log of everybody coming in and out of the room. The other part of the reporting is that we can tie this to our survey and certificate system. Some of our users are familiar with this, but basically now that we know who's gone to what workshop, we can issue workshop surveys to those particular people who went to it. And one of the things we offer is actually when the survey is completed, that the user will get a PDF of representing that they attended that workshop. So we can tie this to tracking your certificate, all your credits. We can also export to any of the major CME systems. The pricing is very simple, $250 setup and $10 per session. And as you are familiar with, we do discounts for licenses. So if you come to us and say, I got 40 sessions, we'll give some bundled discount. Now we're going to move on to our other product, ERLead. And this is it's really a classic lead retrieval product. So what you'll find is that we came in with something that's very simple and priced very, very affordably. Doesn't try to do all the bells and whistles, because I think a lot of exhibitors have their own CMS systems, CRM systems, and they don't need all the bells and whistles on the devices they're renting. It's also based on our QR code technology. And the neat thing about this is that, which I'll show you in a second, is the exhibitors can purchase this online. You don't have to do anything to enable it for them. This is an example of what we have here is our ER Show exhibitor management system. If you have that set up, they would just click on the Resources tab and get a pop-up where they can actually purchase the lead retrieval on the spot. If you don't have ER Show, this is also available as a standalone form. So I'm going to go ahead and put in some fake credit card. Pay by check, this is only available on the back end. So site they might be writing a check, but the online, the exhibitor would only have a choice to pay by credit card. So we're running this. Now you see it changed, and a couple things would happen at this point. One, they will get an email giving them their login into the system, so they can, and just instructions on how to download the app, so they can download the app and start using it. And this is the spreadsheet report. So at any time, they can run a report of all their leads and get it all in the spreadsheet and import it into their systems. Now I'm going to go to our movie. This is kind of like the volunteer. We kept it simple because we think there's a big demand for simple lead retrieval. Because like I said, most of the shows post-work, post-conference, and they want to import this into their CRM systems and do what they need to do. So they have two choices, scan attendee and basically scan. So I'm going to go into scanning mode here. Just scan the lead. And you can see how quickly that came up. And now we're going to, you can see this is a detailed record of all the information for the person. And then you can have notes. You can see they added a note. Just type in something hi. And then the notes appear. I can also scroll back up and see a list of everyone I've scanned, go back into the record, review it, or add more notes. Oops, sorry about that. So pricing for this is real simple. The exhibitor goes online, pays $75, and gets the information for the show. And that's kind of all there is to it. It's nice, simple process. So that's a review of our two main products. We expect this to be a growth area. As you know, the enhancements we add are driven by our users. And you guys are what makes our software great. So we always are listening to feedback for things that will make it better. But a couple of things we anticipate doing is in 2014 is allowing people to do on-site payment using Square or some device that you can attach to your iPhone or iPad and just swipe the credit card. So then you wouldn't even have to type in the credit card information. So we anticipate doing that. The other thing that we anticipate doing in 2014 is that when people register, they will get a QR code on their confirmation, and when they show up, that scanning tool you saw will be tied to a badge printer. So you would scan the QR code and a badge would be printed out. The other thing is we're looking at some point to do a full attendee app. We actually made a great deal of progress on it, but we felt that the demand early on was for these two products I just showed you. But we do have, we've done quite a bit of work on the full attendee app, and that we'll pretty much release it once our customers show some interest in it. And we've also gotten a chance to work out everything with these two existing